Well, hello there everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Space Cowboy here with another video for you guys here today, and it's time for another Mock Draft Monday this week. We're officially 1 month away from the beginning of the 2024 NFL Draft, and with what the Cowboys have done this offseason, it feels like after that first initial week of free agency, signing Eric Kendricks and signing some of their guys back and other guys walking, they pretty much hit sim to draft like you would in Madden, and they're basically banking on the draft class, bailing them out once again. And I really don't like their approach, but it is what it is. And so for this week's mock draft, it's pretty much a reaction to what the Cowboys have been saying and doing when it comes to how they're handling the roster and what they're trying to do to plug up the holes come draft time. So if you want to partake in the madness, by all means go to one of the websites that do mock drafts, do a 3-round mock draft. Tell me what you did with yours down below in the comment section. And then by all means at the very end, tell me what you think about the mock draft. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into this week's mock draft.
And here comes the pick.
With the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
Graham Barton, offensive tackle, Duke. When we talk about how the Cowboys are trying to build the offensive line for 2024 and what the plan is, the first question that needs to be answered is, what are you doing with Tyler Smith? You keeping him at left guard, or are you going to move him out to left tackle? And from what Jerry, Steven, and the rest of the Cowboys media is insinuating, it looks like Tyler Smith is going to be moving out there to left tackle. However, they're not making it seem like that's going to be the case because it looks like they're trying to keep the smoke screens up. But with how I know they like to talk, and sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire, I think that Tyler Smith is going to move back to left tackle. So with that, now the question is, what do you do at left guard and center? We start off at center because based off of how the Cowboys look at Brock Hoffman and how highly they think of him, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being the starting center for the Cowboys in 2024. And if that is the case, that the Cowboys want to roll with Hoffman at center, now the question becomes, what do you do at left guard now that you moved Tyler Smith to left tackle in this scenario? And as of right now, as how the roster is currently constructed, TJ Bass is set to be the starter at left guard, and I have no problems with TJ Bass. I really liked him coming out of college. I was very interested in the Cowboys looking to pick him up in that draft class, and here he is, and we didn't even have to spend a draft pick on him. And with you elevating two backups to starters, now your depth's depleted on the offensive line, or you can upgrade one of the positions, that being left guard or center, and roll from there. And that's what happened in this mock draft. And in this particular scenario, the Cowboys take the best offensive lineman on the board, where you can slide him to left guard and see him play very well at the NFL level. For those wondering, Jackson Powers-Johnson was not on the board for the Cowboys to take in this mock draft, so I was unable to put that selection in. Trust me, I would have loved to see him in Dallas, but I don't think he's going to be available for the Cowboys to take him. Just as a heads up. But getting back to Barton, 6'5", 316 pounds, very nice measurables there. You talk about what he does very well on film. First off, you talk about experience. He's played inside for the offensive line and mostly for the outside. He played at left tackle, so he has familiarity on the left side of the offensive line. Very good agility, very good footwork, very flexible given his size, explosive off the snap, and he's a very intelligent player, able to get into the second level relatively easily. Then you talk about a couple bad things that I've noticed when it comes to how he plays the position. And this was mostly at left tackle. And the biggest problem was looking at his arm length. I do believe that that is easy to get around if you move him to guard. Another part too is he has a couple... Another thing that I've noticed is he's been flagged a decent amount, primarily because of him losing leverage. And again, that had to deal a lot with him playing the tackle position. And on top of that, dealing with those speed rushers, they can get around him relatively easily, and that kind of coincides with his arm length. So with all of that I'm saying about the bad, I think that you can remedy that by moving him to guard. And I think that for the most part, him getting experience at guard with developing technique and what he can do at the second level, those are things that will happen naturally. Otherwise, I think he will be a good guard given his draft position, and I think that with this being the case, the Cowboys have solidified the left side of the offensive line. Their center can be a competition between Bass and Hoffman. And then assuming that Martin is done in 2024, you can move Bass to right guard, and you're not caught with your pants down with the offensive line. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next pick, and then we'll take it from there.
And here comes the pick.
The Dallas Cowboys select
Junior Colson, linebacker, Michigan. I know a lot of Cowboys fans aren't fond of prospects out of Michigan, but I will say Junior Colson is a guy that I'm really keeping an eye out on. The Cowboys didn't meet with him at the Combine, and when we talk about how they're trying to address the linebacker position, they don't really have any long-term options at linebacker. They're banking on DeMarvion Overshown being a guy there. Eric Kendricks is here for 1 year. But again, there's no long-term solution, and I think Junior Colson can be a long-term solution for the Dallas Cowboys. First thing you do is you look at what he brings to the table. You look at his frame, 6'2", 238 pounds. Good frame for a linebacker, and I think Mike Zimmer would love him. Then you look at what he's able to do at the linebacker position. I think things that I really like about what he can do is he is one of the quintessential guys you would want in having an off-ball linebacker for the value you're getting in a second-round pick. I can see him being a starter for 4 seasons. Do I think he can be a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of guy? I don't know. All I do see is someone that can step in and be a productive linebacker for you, which is what the Cowboys need. He does very well in coverage. I think he's very aggressive when it comes to making tackles. Everything that you would want in a pure off-ball linebacker, Junior Colson is that. There are other guys in this draft that I like more. We've talked about him and Edgar and Cooper and stuff like that. But with that being the case, I think that Junior Colson would be the next best option for the Cowboys. And if they're not able to get Cooper, they're probably going to have to go with Colson. They really like him from what I understand. And I don't have a problem with Michigan players. In fact, we know that we have a guy in Jordan Lewis that was a Michigan player that's been very well for the Cowboys. So with that being the case, I think that taking Junior Colson here in round 2 gives the Cowboys a much-needed long-term option at the linebacker position. And I'm very worried they're going to use this pick for other reasons. I just think that this is the safe pick. You get a linebacker for at least a minimum of 4 years, solid starter, which is what you need when it comes to your second-round selections. So with that, let's move on to our final pick, and then we'll close this thing out.
And here comes the pick.
the Dallas Cowboys select
Trey Benson, running back, Florida State. He was already in the previous mock draft that we did, and it's becoming more of a consistent thing of him going in the 3rd round. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes earlier. I'll be having the link to the mock draft, which we took him first, at the top right of the screen. So if you want to get more of the details of what I like about him as a prospect, you get that. But for the Cowboys, when you look at how they're building this running back room, you bring back Rico Dowdle on a 1-year deal. You do have a guy in Deuce Vaughn that's here on a rookie contract, but then you look at who else is in the room, not a whole lot of long-term options. And when I say that for the running back room, I need a dude that can be young, fresh, and will be here at least 4 years. And I think that with Trey Benson, he is my favorite running back of the group. He can play very well given with what Dallas is trying to do with the running back position and with who you can partner him with. I think he helps out the position to the point to where really if you just take him, I think you're set at running back. There isn't a whole lot that I wanted the Cowboys to do at running back. You know, I didn't want them to go out and add a Derrick Henry. I didn't need them to go out and add a Saquon Barkley. I just needed them to go get a cheap veteran, which, okay, they go get Rico Dowdle. Now you need to go get the rookie that can start behind him, or you make him the starter and you have Rico being the fill-in guy. Otherwise, I think the Cowboys would be set at running back in this particular scenario. So that's my mock draft, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me down below what you guys did for your particular mock drafts as we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. I can't believe it. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys.